was on stage, I was actually opening for a comedian for the university. They paid me a whole $50 in order to do it, which I thought was funny because it's not like they don't know where that money's going to go back to them. Well, at least I learned one thing there, though. I told the guy who I was opening with that I have really bad stage fright, and he said, well, you know what I do? I look directly at the spotlights in order to look like you're looking at everybody, but you're not. And then you can just pretend you're doing it to yourself. So, So I've been coming to Crew for over 2 years now, and I've heard a lot of stories up here, and as I stand up here in front of you and seeing all your smiling faces and not the lights, it reminds me of just how short my walk with God's actually been. My parents were non-religious people. They never told us that we had to go to church. They never went to church, so it just wasn't part of our lives. So I knew little about Christianity other than, Grandma went to church every Sunday, and that was about all I knew. That, along with a family that was affected by issues involving alcohol, made me a young man who was very confused, afraid, and honestly, I was very bitter at kind of the world. Yet I felt empty and tried filling that void with school and sports, devoting everything and all my time to my studies and athletics and trying to get, the best scores in my tests or the fastest times, because I was a swimmer, I was captain of the swim team, all that kind of stuff. But I still felt this dull emptiness really deep down. And eventually, when I was exposed to pornography at an early age, I quickly developed a bad addiction that plagued me until I was for 8 years, yeah. And if you don't know, I might look 35, I'm actually 20, so that's half of my life, which is a pretty big deal. Where was it? But I am happy to report that I've been away from that for almost a year now, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of myself for that one. It can be done, just got to start. But yeah, all those things would really only take my mind off of just the deep sadness and anxiety that really was just a staple of my entire childhood, and wasn't able to see how it could ever get better. I couldn't imagine a life that was anything other than it was, because that's all I knew. So it really wasn't until my freshman year, living in the 4th floor of May Roach Hall, that religion really became a part of my life. I was invited to a Bible study by the Bible study leader, John Flood, who knocked on my door back when you could do that. I remember it was at a weird time. It was 7 o'clock on a Wednesday. I was like, who does anything on a Wednesday evening? But I went because John was also my CA, and I didn't want to make him mad, so I went for the first time. I had zero background. I felt completely out of my element, and I just was. It was pretty much the most awkward thing I've ever done in my entire life. So some of you may be wondering why I kept going, because obviously I did. Well. That's because the first day, we talked about a major aspect of Christianity that I'd really never heard of, and that's forgiveness. That resonated with me a lot. So even though it was super awkward, I just kept coming back and began reading the Bible on my own time, learning as much as I could, as fast as I could. And slowly I became more and more comfortable in the study, and I began feeling the true potential of God and what His Word could do for me. I I've met men in that study who welcomed me and accepted me for the poor choices I made and for everything, not just the face that I put on. And it was, if there's one thing that I hope that all of you come out of after I'm done talking up here, making a fool of myself, is the idea that we should live our lives through forgiveness, not only towards others, but towards ourselves, because that definitely put me on a path where I know things can get better, and although I'm in the early stages and only one footstep in a journey of 1,000, it's still a step farther than I was when I began. So,
Amen.
if any of you want to talk with me later about anything, definitely I'll be in the back afterwards. So, thanks for listening to me, guys.